Entonces ahora vamos a compartir un poquito sobre Dharma.
So now I'd like to share a little bit with you.
La mayoría de ustedes también ya tienen conocimiento de budista.
So it seems like maybe many of y'all have a little bit of insight into Buddhism.
Algunos poco nuevo, ¿verdad?
And maybe some people are new.
Entonces siempre me gustó como siempre hablar poco como concepto como budista, como humano.
And so then I always like to start with a little bit of like the framework of Buddhism.
Generalmente en budismo tiene muchos dinámicos, ¿no? Muchos dinámicos diferentes como tradiciones.
So in general, Buddhism has many different lineages, many different traditions within it.
Entonces todo enseñanza viene de Buda.
All of the teachings though come from Buddha.
Cambian algunos métodos, ¿no?
Many of the methods are changed just a little bit.
Esencia es un solo,
But the essence is one.
¿no? Entonces yo soy de clase Lama Dorje, lineaje es Kagyu, especially.
And so the lineage that I come from is the branch of Kagyu, and it's specifically Jukung Kagyu.
Budismo tibetano, Vajrayana.
So it's Tibetan Buddhism and the vehicle of Vajrayana.
Caso yo soy un hombre ordinario, pero tuve gran oportunidad recibido varias enseñanzas suspendidas, Dalai Lama, suspendidas Dharma, Bhakti Murchi, Dibunga, etc.
So I'm just a normal human, and I've just had some very special opportunities in my life to study with some great masters, such as His Holiness Garchen Rinpoche, and His Holiness Dalai Lama, Karmapa, and Jigumpa.
Entonces, eso de enseñanza, yo he practicado poquito, mi vida es compartir con ustedes.
And so I've been able to practice these teachings in my life, and so this is what I'm sharing with you today, is my experience.
Okay. Primero eso, ¿qué significa budismo? Buddha, ¿qué significa? Primero.
So first of all, what do we mean by Buddhism, and what do we mean by Buddha?
Muita gente às vezes confunde budismo como religião. Buda é algo Deus, algo fora que existe.
Many people often confuse Buddhism to be a religion, as if like Buddha was a god that's on the outside.
Não. A palavra de Buda significa desperta.
The word Buddha means awakened.
Despertar o potencial do ser humano, despertar o potencial que temos cada de nós outros.
It means to awaken the inherent potential that each one of us have within us already.
Que ha alcançado o nível de máximo consciência, não? Que ha superado todo tipo de sofrimento, karma, samsara, reencarnação, etc.
Buddha means to fully awaken and surpass all of the sufferings and challenges of life, the cyclic way of living.
Absolutamente, ele é como libertar, não? Libertar, absolutamente, livre.
So Buddha means one that is completely free and completely free and liberated.
Livre de todos.
Free of everything.
Então, agora nós não estamos livres.
All of us are not free yet.
Não? Pois não felizes.
That's why we're not fully happy yet.
Porque nós só temos bajo de influência, controle de los venenos.
Because like underneath everything, the afflictions and are controlling us.
Então aí não felicidade, tá?
And so then we don't experience happiness.
Felicidade não significa só externos condicionados, ok? Felicidade pode ter dois tipos de felicidade.
Happiness doesn't mean that it's dependent on external conditions. There's actually two types of happiness.
Felicidade externos, felicidade internos.
There's external happiness and there's internal happiness.
Então, seguramente todos nós queremos uma felicidade mais dura, mais permanente possível, mais largo prazo, não?
I'm sure that all of us would prefer to have the happiness that is long lasting.
Se todo mundo queremos, não? Então, se queremos uma felicidade mais larga possível, é ter que cultivar coisas de felicidade mais incondicional.
So if we would actually like to experience lasting happiness, we need to cultivate the causes of lasting happiness.
Ahora, por ejemplo, nosotros practicamos amor y compasión, todo condicionado, ¿no?
All of the love and the compassion that we currently practice are conditioned,
¿No? Por eso nosotros felicidad muy limitada.
which is why our happiness is also limited.
Esa es la ley de causa-efecto, ¿no?
This is the law of cause and effect.
Ok, seguir hablando como de significado de Buda, ¿no? Budismo, ¿qué es budismo, no?
So I'll continue to share with you a little bit about like what is Buddhism.
Entonces, tradición budismo, ahí tenemos más puede decir tres vehículos.
So in the tradition of Buddhism, there are 3 different vehicles.
Theravada, caminos básicos,
Theravada, which is like the basic path.
budismo Mahayana,
There's Mahayana,
Vajrayanas.
and then Vajrayana.
Entonces, ¿por qué se dividió? ¿Por qué?
So why is it divided into these
Un
3?
solo profesor, ¿no?
There's just one master.
Porque ese depende la también capacidad de cada seres, gusto de cada seres, ¿no? Por eso ahí existe diferente poco método.
There's different methods because there's different beings, different mindsets, and different ways of connecting to the wisdom.
Budismo Theravada, por ejemplo, más gente que practica Sri Lanka, la India, ellos son como monjes, como que tienen mucha disciplina, ¿no?
So Theravada Buddhism is like Buddhism maybe in Sri Lanka, in Thailand, and these kind of places where they're practicing very disciplined conduct.
Disciplina, ¿no? Muy como más importante disciplina, más práctica principal importante, 4 liberdades.
They're very particularly focused on the 4 noble truths, and they live a very disciplined life.
Okay. Segundo, ¿cuál es? Camino Mahayana.
The second one is the Mahayana path,
Mahayana como relación al budismo Zen.
and that's mostly related to the Zen path.
¿Y qué quiere significa Hinayana como Hinayana o Theravada? ¿Y qué significa Mahayana? Significa Hinayana, significa normalmente, ¿no? Que no está hablando como disminuimiento de su cualidad, sino Hina es el pequeño aspiración, pequeño motivación que toma responsabilidad, liberación individual.
So Theravada is like the Hinayana path, and what that translates as is like the small aspiration or motivation, which means to have the aspiration for personal liberation.
Individual.
Individual
Eso es muy
liberation,
importante, ¿no? Primero.
which is very important.
Primero, no uno libera, ¿cómo puede ayudar a demás?
If we are not liberated, how can we truly support others?
Si ustedes vieron un Buda como Siddhartha, ¿no? Ustedes ya conocen esa historia de Siddhartha.
I'm sure that many of you have heard about the story of Siddhartha.
Primero, él quiso salir de como de samsara, ¿no?
So first of all, he wanted to be able to leave samsara,
Liberación individual.
which is personal
Después
liberation.
él volvió, ¿no?
And then he returned
Ayudar, ¿no?
to support everybody else,
Automáticamente camino Mahayana.
which automatically shifted into the Mahayana path,
Grande aspiración.
which is the great aspiration.
Mahayana, Bodhisattva.
It means like Mahayana, which is like the Bodhisattva path.
Tomando responsabilidad de liberarse todos los seres.
To take responsibility to end the suffering of all beings.
Hoy día nosotros, porque Bodhisattva significa gran servidor, ¿no? Bodhisattva.
So the word Bodhisattva means like the great person of service.
Hoy día tenemos mucho porque el budismo, uno de la reencarnación sustenida Dalai Lama,
Like-
Avalokiteshvara.
For example, like His Holiness the Dalai Lama is a reincarnation of Avalokiteshvara,
Un Buda vivo.
a live Buddha.
No importa físicamente ser humano,
It doesn't matter that he is physically a human.
internamente vive completamente como iluminados.
Internally, he is living completely enlightened.
Es Bodhisattva.
This is a Bodhisattva.
Y él como sirviente de esencia,
He's serving from his essence.
no hay ninguna cambio,
It doesn't change.
ninguna algo ganancia, ¿no? Es ninguna algo ganancia,
He's not gaining anything from that.
es Bodhisattva.
This is a Bodhisattva.
Nosotros ahora servimos poquito, siempre tiene algo cambios,
We,
como expectativa.
when-
Yo voy a dar, te voy a dar.
when we give these days, we always have an expectation that if I give, then I get something back.
Esperanza, ¿no?
So we kind of have like this kind of wish or hope embedded in the way that
Eso
we
es
give.
diferencia. por eso hablan de bodhisattva, camino interior, ¿no?
And so that's why we're talking about the bodhisattva, like the internal
Ese
path.
más relaciona como recuerdo de presencia zen budista y también budismo tibetano.
So this has to do with Zen Buddhism as well as Tibetan Buddhism.
E luego viene el budismo vajrayana, camino diamante.
And then there is the Vajrayana path, which is like the diamond path.
Camino tántricos.
This is the tantric path.
Yo siempre hablo vajrayana, porque cuando hablo tántrico, tiene poco confusión.
But I always say the word Vajrayana because when you say Tantra here, people get a little confused.
¿No? Cuando habla tantra, me siente algo cosa o sexualidad o que no sé, arbólico, algo piensen de eso.
Like people think that when you say the word Tantra that it just means sexuality or that you're allowed to drink on the Buddhist path.
Camino de vajrayana, budismo tibetano, es muy elevado.
But actually Tantra is a very elevated path in Tibetan Buddhism.
Camino de transformar.
It means to transform.
Tú puedes transformar, tú puedes permitir todos.
If you can transform experiences and situations, then you're allowed to engage in anything.
Veneno transforma medicina.
You can change poison into medicine.
Como pavo real.
Like the peacock.
Escuchado, pavo real come veneno, prenda veneno.
The peacocks actually eat poisonous plants.
Natural, comida natural, alimentación
It's
normal.
like their natural food.
Otro pajarito no puede comer,
Other birds cannot eat those poisons.
va a morir.
They would die.
No tiene capacidad de transformar.
They don't have the capacity to transform the poisons.
Mejor tomar el camino de distancia.
And so then they take the path of distance.
Okay. Entonces, tibetano budismo vajrayana ese incluye tres caminos inseparables.
So Vajrayana Buddhism actually includes all three of the paths together. They're inseparable.
Entonces, usted ha escuchado, ese tres caminos muy relacionados, tres frases de Buda. Entonces, todo el budismo aporta esa frase.
These three pathways are actually related to the three sentences of Buddha. The three main teachings that were summarized of Buddha.
Primero dice, no hacer mal. Primero.
Don't do bad.
No hay importancia hacer bien.
It
No es importante.
doesn't matter if you do good, just don't do bad.
Primero parar de mal conducta.
Just first of all, stop doing bad, like good conduct.
Es más desafío, ¿cierto?
That's actually really hard.
No pensar mal, no hablar mal.
Don't think bad, don't speak bad.
Parar de negativo.
Just stop the negativity.
Es camino externos.
That's the external path.
Moralidad.
That's morality,
Disciplina.
discipline.
Los monjes tienen 250 votos compromisos.
There, 250.
Sí, más o menos.
The monks have 250 vows that can help create that type of discipline and conduct.
Buena conducta, ¿no? No hace mal, ¿no? Ese camino externo.
So that's the external path.
Segundo dice hacer bien.
And the second one says do good.
Hacer bien significa camino interno.
To do good means this is like the internal path.
No suficiente hacer mal con mano doblada.
It's not sufficient just to like not do good and just like keep your arms crossed.
Hacer bien.
It means actually do good.
Ayudar a los demás.
It means help others.
Amor incondicional.
It means unconditional love.
Es camino interno.
This is the internal path.
Luego caminos secretos.
And then there's like the secret path.
Camino vajrayana.
And this is Vajrayana.
Dice, controlar tu la mente, dice Buda.
The third phrase is control your mind.
Ese es más desafío.
That's really the hardest.
Y transformar tu la mente, dice.
It means to transform the mind.
Controlar sus emociones.
Control our emotions.
Ese camino vajrayana.
This is the path of Vajrayana.
Dice, Tibetan dice, dico chiang michai, biwa pun sopache. Rang esinde yongsudu, dini sangya tema yi. Cuatro frases, ¿no?
What he just said
Tibetan.
is the four lines in Tibetan.
¿No? Entonces dice, cuando nos practicamos ese tres, ese es el camino de la iluminación.
So when we can practice these three, this is the pathway of enlightenment.
¿Eh? Entonces, y ese más o menos por ejemplo de budismo.
So this
This is
is kind of like the overarching vision of Buddhism.
¿Ya? Dentro del budismo tibetano hay tiene varios linajes, no necesariamente de hablar.
And so within these three pathways, there's a lot of lineages.
Budismo budismo, Tibetan, especially.
Particularly within the Vajrayana vehicle, there's a lot of lineages, and we're not going to speak about all of those today, but there's many branches.
Okay. Entonces, ahora budismo es una filosofía, ¿no?
And so it's good to know that Buddhism is actually a philosophy of life.
Filosofía de la vivir.
It's a philosophy of living.
¿Cómo vivir mejor una vida sentido?
How do we live a meaningful life in a better way?
Más feliz.
How do we live with happiness?
Eso enseñanza, ¿no?
That's actually the teaching.
Tú dices, budismo tiene mucha alta figura, ¿por qué no religión?
So we might ask ourselves, like, if Buddhism's not a religion, why do we have so many figures and an altar?
Es por tu cualidad entera.
It's to remind us of our internal qualities.
Tu cualidad entero explota afuera.
All of the internal qualities explode to the outside.
Entonces, cada uno de nosotros tiene ese potencial.
We actually all have this potential.
Es símbolo eso, símbolo.
These are symbols of our potential.
No es Buda eso.
This statue itself is not Buddha.
Un símbolo.
This is a symbol of Buddha.
Imagen de Buda.
It's an image of Buddha.
Solo recuerda mirando a Buda.
It's just a memory.
Cada uno de nosotros tiene ese potencial.
We actually all have this potential to awaken.
Todos los seres vivos.
All of the living beings have this potential to
No importa
awaken.
cuál cultura eres, cuál creencia tiene, cuál forma tiene, no hay importancia. Todo el mundo tiene.
It doesn't matter what culture you're from, what beliefs that you have, what form you have. All of us have the potential to awaken.
Potencial. Es muy importante, ¿verdad?
So it's really important to recognize this potential.
Por ejemplo, leche, yo sé, ejemplo, leche.
So I'm going to share with you the example of milk.
¿Cuál es la esencia de leche?
What is the essence of milk?
Mantequilla.
Butter,
¿Sí o no? ¿Sí o no? ¿Sí?
isn't it?
¿Cuál es la más pureza de mantequilla?
And what's the purest form of butter?
Ghee.
Ghee.
Ghee es más purificado.
It's the most purified form.
Eso nosotros tenemos.
We have this essence inside.
No importa cuál leche eres.
Doesn't matter what type of milk you are.
Animal, caballo, ser humano.
It doesn't matter if it's from a cow or from a horse or from a human.
No, tú tienes mantequilla.
All of it has butter
Todo
inside.
puede hacer ghee.
All of it can become ghee.
Oh, eso es importante.
That's actually very important.
Algunas, yo tengo ghee.
I've got ghee inside,
Todavía leche.
but I'm still milk.
Líquidos, todavía.
We're still liquid.
Hay que tener que hacer.
So what do we need to do?
¿Cómo sacamos nosotros mantequilla?
How can we really bring out the butter?
Hacer yogur, ¿no? Primero.
First, we need to make yogurt.
Yogur. ¿Sí o no? ¿Sí? Después ya ellos saben tibetano. Yo ya he trabajado con eso, no más.
Yeah, and so many of my friends here that are Tibetan, they also know, and I know because I grew up in a nomadic culture.
Ahí tiene bater, ¿no?
So what you have to do is shake it. You have to practice. You have to work with it,
Ahí cambia ghee, ¿no?
and then the ghee can come out of it.
Si no hace nada, sigue como leche.
If you don't do anything to the milk, it'll just stay milk.
Exactamente, nosotros podemos aplicar eso, nuestra vida.
The same thing we can apply to our life.
Nosotros tenemos potencial, eso es realmente, ¿no?
We genuinely have potential.
Nosotros solo escuchando diferentes sabiduría, ¿no? Intelectuales, no va a cambiar, no va a salir esencia.
We can listen to a lot of intellectual theories about life, but it's not going to change our essence if we don't practice.
Tiene que practicar.
We have to practice.
Great yogi de Tibet, Milarepa dijo,
The great yogi of Tibet, Milarepa, said once,
cuando está hambre, no suficiente merenda las comidas lleno de mesa.
when you're hungry, it's not sufficient just to look at a table of food.
Cuando de sed, mucho sed, no suficiente tu está merenda los ríos grandes.
Whenever you're thirsty, it's not sufficient just to look at a big river.
Tiene que comer la comida,
You have to eat the food.
tomar agua,
You have to drink the water.
quitar la sed.
And that it can really quench your thirst.
Por eso es importante nosotros que can incorporar el Dharma. Dharma no puede separar de la vida.
We can't separate Dharma or the teachings from daily life.
Quando não tem Dharma, não necessariamente alguma coisa, não necessariamente espaço para a meditação, não?
When is there a moment for Dharma? It's not just when we're sitting on the mat or sitting with our altar.
Qualquer momento.
Every moment is a moment to practice the
Milarepa
Dharma.
dijo,
Milarepa said once,
eu quando dorme, quando come, quando camina, sempre meditação.
when I sleep, when I eat, when I walk, I'm always meditating.
E a não perder tempo.
He never loses time.
Nós só perdemos muito tempo.
We lose a lot of time.
Nós só separamos, por que perdemos tempo?
We separate our time and we're losing a lot of it.
Não? Separando Dharma e lado, vida outro lado.
Dharma is here and my life is here.
Por exemplo, pode ser outra religião, não sei. Ok, domingo vai uma cerimônia missa. Por exemplo, lunes, domingo.
So maybe in some other belief systems we like go and pray on Sunday and then on Monday we just go back to normal life and normal attitude.
Não passa nada. Separado.
And we separate it from life.
É perder tempo.
And then we lose time.
Vida muito preciosa.
Life is very precious.
Vida é regalo.
Life is a gift.
Regalo nós só também, basicamente não padre, madre, não?
It's a gift from our mother and our father.
Nosso próprio méritos que é passado, que cultivamos.
It is a gift of merit that we ourselves have cultivated over time.
Não? E estamos na vida preciosa.
We're here with a precious human life right now.
No mesmo tempo temos sofrimento pouquinho, não?
At the same time, we have suffering also from karma.
Não? Então, por lo menos nós outros dentro de muitos seres vive esse planeta Terra, e ser humano esse mais precioso.
And all of the living beings that are on the planet at this time, the precious human life is the most precious.
Pero depende lá seres humanos. Não todos seres humanos são preciosos.
Not all human beings have a precious human life.
Alguns seres humanos pior que animais.
Some human beings are living in a worse way than animals live.
Corpo ser humano, la mente animais.
The body of a human being and the mind of an animal.
Não compreende.
Not understanding.
Muito dedicado a hacer la arma y guerras.
Dedicating to war, dedicating to external weapons.
Isso passa. Então, precioso vida humana significa normalmente tem 18 ventajas.
A precious human life actually comes with 18 advantages.
Esse é reconocer.
So it's important for us to recognize how fortunate we are.
Claro, muito desafio lá dentro de como samsara, não?
Of course, we have a lot of challenges while we live in the cyclic way of life, samsara.
Especialmente esse pandemia, não?
And particularly the pandemic has been showing us this.
Desafio, não?
It's been quite a challenge.
Mano, dois caras.
There's one hand and there's two faces to that hand.
Lado, maravilhoso.
One side of it was wonderful.
Lado, muito sofrimento.
One side of it was a lot of suffering.
人间被给的把谁的把